watching My Indy TV 23. Now from the ISC Sports Network, this is high school basketball. You're watching My Indy TV 23. Now from the ISC Sports Network, this is high school basketball.
Last night in Owensboro, Kentucky, the Indiana Boys All-Stars got their 100th win in the history of the series against their rivals from the state of Kentucky. Perhaps this Indiana team of the century can start the next century's worth of wins against their Kentucky rivals this evening. Indiana, Kentucky, and it comes your way next on ISC and My Indy TV.
The Indiana-Kentucky All-Star Series on the ISC Sports Network and My Indy TV 23 are brought to you by Lawrence Township Schools, the district of destination. By Ed Martin, more selection, more savings, more for your trade. By First Savings Bank, where you're always first. By IMCU, at IMCU, it's you that matters. By Geico, come be a part of the Geico team.
Welcome back inside Southport Fieldhouse, and numerous times during the basketball season when I'm broadcasting here, the guy that's with me right now, he's not wearing a shirt and tie, but he is with me for broadcast. But because this is the day job for him these days, he looks all spiffy. It's good to see Mike Broughton here, and my friend, congratulations on bringing this series back after being away for a year. What's it mean to be back here at Southport tonight?
Yeah, it just feels just so great that there's a crowd and people are excited, and it's kind of a little bit of post-COVID, and they've sat inside and watched games, and not really, the players haven't had really anybody to even cheer for them. They're excited. It's been a great 2 days, and then even at Brownsburg, they did a great job, and we had a good junior-senior game.
So with that, let's talk about, obviously last year you knew virtually immediately at the time of the pandemic there was not going to be an All-Star series. You named All-Stars, you named Junior All-Stars, but the preparations have been a lot more maybe intense and scrutinized than normally would be. What has this week been like for you and your staff?
Well, I think we put probably a few hundred more hours than normal because we didn't know from month to month if we were actually having a game or not a game. And Steve Whitty is the president of the IBCA, and they're the sponsor of the game with the Star. And so there was just so many adjustments that we had to make. And even up until a month ago, we really weren't sure what we were going to have as far as the number of people. But it's worked out great. People are excited. People started showing up here at 3:30. The players, you know, some of them, I told them they haven't got to play in front of this many people all season. And here we are for their last really game before 5 of them head to different universities tomorrow. I wish we'd have won the girls game, but if we win the boys, we won 3 out of 4, and it's just great to get back to Hoosier Hoops.
Pre-pandemic, the plan was to play at Southport Fieldhouse because of renovations to Bankers Life Fieldhouse. You know you'll be back here again next year as well as those renovations continue in downtown. What sort of partner have the folks at Southport High School been to the All-Stars?
They've just been absolutely fantastic. Mr. Mapes, the superintendent, Murph, the AD, and all his helpers, they put in hundreds of hours to get this thing to go off. And we were doing social distancing for seats on the lower bowl, and then the upper bowl was going to be just come as you may. And we chuckled today that plans that we made a month ago, some of them went out the window. But we're glad everybody's here. We hope the people are enjoying it with you. We appreciate this. First time we've ever done the game on TV. As far as the Indiana All-Star game, we've heard a lot of positive comments about that. So we're trying to adjust, I guess, post-COVID, and really the next generation. In fact, my coach says, "Are we playing this music?" I go, "This is NBA style, man. This is loving the DJ stuff." So it's been good. The kids have been fantastic this week. They've truly represented the state of Indiana. I couldn't be prouder.
Did you officially get to a sellout of half capacity, 3,500 tonight?
Yes, we did. Yeah, we got 3,500 people, and it was great that we made it. And we're happy, and just get us a W here. Go 3-1. I'll be tickled to death. But the girls had a great week. We brought them in on Tuesday. We had 4 days that we worked with them. We had them in a bubble. I guess we were the mini bubble. But everything's worked out great. I thank you for your partnership and the games we did last year. And I guess after this game, we kind of close the books on this season and get ready for next.
Couple quick things before we let you go. I know that, yes, you get together because you want to win. You end every tweet with beat Kentucky during the course of the regular season, but you also want to be around quality people. And it seems that was the case on your teams and your coaching staff this week.
Yeah, my players and my coaches, Coach Allen, the head coach of the girls, and Coach Osborne, head coach of the boys, they worked really hard. We had practices in May. People took a lot of time, went a lot of different directions to make this thing work because we cut camp by 1 day. But we kind of like that. We keep changing things and every year, but I think the Tuesday camp worked out pretty well. Boys played really well last night. I thought the girls played pretty well today. Maybe not as well for the girls, but the boys have been very unselfish. And you know what? 4 or 5 of those guys, even maybe more, they're fun to watch.
Simple point is, next year the plan is to sell 7,000 tickets for this building, correct?
You know, Mr. Mapes came to me and says, we want standing room only. And I said, the only way we can do that is start selling it today. And I'm glad you put me on because we're looking for 7,000 people to fill this place. And if it's 90 degrees, everybody's going to be warm like they're playing outside.
Simply search the Indiana Basketball Coaches Association online. You can find it there. IND All-Stars on Twitter, where you can follow Coach Broughton. Congratulations, my friend, and best of luck in beating Kentucky one more time.
Well, I had my Twitter account started at 2,000. I broke 4,000 today, so join up. I'll be putting things out all summer and all fall, and let's fill the place for the state of Indiana because we are different than everybody else.
We'll take this 2-minute timeout. When we come back, Jan Bozier rejoins me, and we'll focus our energy and efforts on tonight's boys game between Kentucky and Indiana. Back after this on ISC and My Indy TV.
Your life is on the go. Now your viewing habits can be on the go. With the ISC Sports Network app, your team is at your fingertips. You can download years' worth of content from the ISC Sports Network library. High school, college, special events, weekly and monthly shows, wherever you find your favorite app. And you can always find out more information at iscsportsnetwork.com.
The best video on the internet is not the guy of the last week or so. It's the surfing bulldog.
Expecto Patronum, like, Harry Potter. Everybody knows what I'm talking about at home.
I'm not
confused.
12.
You are one of the most disgusting people I've ever met.
You asked. You open up the door. Squeaky. Colts quarterback room is kind of like picking your favorite Ernest movie. They're all pretty bad. You have
Did you actually see any of those?
You have to go. I really was a big Ernest. Yeah.
No way.
Ernest fan. Ernest Goes to Camp was my favorite.
Back from Southport Fieldhouse, Greg Redstraw, Jan Bozier with you here on ISC and My Indy TV. And again, girls game ran a little bit long, not surprisingly, so we have a little extended pregame coverage for you here. The Indiana boys and the Kentucky All-Stars. And again, this is a senior class that's been hyped up, rightfully so, anticipated for so long. Again, Jan, 10 players that will play at Big East, Big Ten, or ACC institutions. And it's not just that group. The other 4 players that are on this team, outstanding players of their own right. And there's a lot of young men that are at home tonight or watching this broadcast that in most years would be Indiana All-Stars. This is one of the deepest senior classes this state has ever had.
Yeah, that's a great point. You could go down a list of the next 5 to 10 and you go, on any other year, they would have been on this team too. Timing's everything, but once again, you talk to Mike, Broughton, and all the staff. This is the toughest thing that perhaps they've had to do in a long time, is kind of whittle this number down to where it has to be. And boy, I'll tell you, did they ever get it right as far as talent is concerned.
Let's talk about Mr. Basketball. Let's start with him. Caleb First, heading to Purdue, 12th Purdue Boilermaker to win Mr. Basketball, 2-time state champion at Blackhawk Christian, as well as the fact he was the Trester Award winner in Class 2A. What a spectacular way to cap off an outstanding high school career.
Well, he's the full package. He's just everything. He's a map painter guy through and through, from the way he's built to the way he plays. inside, outside. I think he's one of the few freshmen who has a real shot of seeing some playing time early for Purdue. I really do.
So Caleb Hurst wearing that number 1. In other years, maybe a guy like Trey Kaufman-Wren might have been Mr. Basketball. He was the Gatorade Player of the Year a year ago. And so you've got 2 Gatorade Players of the Year from the last 2 years in the state of Indiana that are both going to Purdue. Trey Kaufman-Wren, every bit as good as Caleb Hurst.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And I think it showed in last night's game, the athleticism, specifically from the bigs. They were just dominant early on inside, both offensively and defensively. And hey, how about scorers and shooters? You got the 4th leading scorer in the state history here, among others. And I talked about Barnheiser, who scored 32-plus per game, and he can't play.
Barnheiser, by the way, is in uniform tonight. And much like we saw in the girls' game, they're going to allow him to score to start the game to make sure he has got a bucket in the record books in terms of the history of the Indiana All-Stars. Kentucky will have a chance to score before that or score after that. So Brooks Barnheiser will get a bucket in tonight's contest. You mentioned the 4th leading scorer in Indiana high school history. There he is in Luke Brown, and Luke was fantastic last night.
You know what? A lot of people, all they hear about Luke is obviously his three-point shooting and the numbers he puts up. But let me tell you, and last night you see this, he can share the ball pretty well. I thought his assists last night were really good.
18 points for Luke Brown to lead Indiana in scoring. And when he wasn't running the point last night, Shamar Avance was. And we saw Shamar a lot the last couple of years in doing Lawrence North games, part of our MIC package on ISC. Shamar didn't play exactly well on Wednesday. He was great last night.
Yeah, and he has that ability. We've seen him so many times this year, Greg, do it for his team. He has that ability a lot like Jalen Smith is. When it's go time, you like the ball in his hands.
Another player that we saw last night and on Wednesday night that you and I heard a lot about during the course of this season, but because of being in South Bend, we have a chance to see him all that much. Blake Wesley is so talented. 13 points, going to play for Mike Bray in Notre Dame.
Yeah, I'll tell you, and I think, once again, you talk about the nice fit for First and Purdue. I think he's a really good Notre Dame type fit as well. I love it when our kids stay here in Indiana. Regardless what school you root for here in Indiana, when our kids can stay here in the state, I think it's a plus.
Here you see the roster of 14. Again, Brian Waddell of Carmel heading to Purdue. Jalen Blackman of Marion didn't feature as much last night, was really good on Wednesday against the junior All-Stars. Luke Goody, he's a great three-point shooter. He's kind of a glue guy amongst this group and getting rebounds and keeping possessions alive. Same can be said for Cooper Jacoby. And Pierce Thomas got hot late in last night's game. 11 second-half points for the former Indiana track and field champion in the long jump, and a young man that will play for Laval Jordan at Butler University. As far as the Kentucky All-Stars are concerned, they were led by Deshaun Jackson last night with 20 points. He's going to head to play at Eastern Kentucky. Their Mr. Basketball is Ben Johnson, who will play at Bellarmine. He made 2 threes last night. Aiden Mudd had 10 points. Sekou Kale had 12. Again, it wasn't that Kentucky played poorly last night. It's just this Indiana team is just that good.
Yeah, this is a huge task. Simply just the physical aspect alone for them to have to guard Indiana. That being said, if you're Indiana, you take nothing lightly. We've seen out here tonight, clearly a girls' Kentucky team is somewhat undermanned, if you will, as far as numbers are concerned. Sometimes the heart can do funny things, so these guys have got to come out and play their game and play hard.
Do the Kentucky boys coaches take a page from the girls coaches and shorten their rotation?
Yeah.
Everybody from Kentucky, and they've got 12 boys compared to 10 girls, but everybody played in the first half. Only 6 played in the second half for the Kentucky girls. Might Kentucky do the similar thing if this game is competitive in the second half?
If I'm Kentucky and I can find any way in the book to get a win against Indiana at Indiana and go back to Kentucky and brag for a whole year, I'm thinking the answer to that is yes.
By any means necessary. We're going to go ahead and get a quick break out of the way, get a break ahead since we have this extended pregame show. When we come back, you're going to have the thrill of getting to hear Back Home Again in Indiana, my old Kentucky home, and meet all of the All-Stars. Stay tuned. More good stuff comes your way from Southport Fieldhouse. We're getting you ready for the boys' contest of the Indiana and Kentucky All-Star Game. Back in a moment on ISC and My Indy TV.
Oh, baby! That got me awake.
The worm has turned in Logansport.
Look at that play.
The lob underneath, that is. You don't get any picture perfect more than that.
That young man will be glad that our cameras were here for tonight's contest. Brewer jams it home.
That ball wiggles in and into the back of the net.
A little fireworks in the first half. Throw it up for Tillman.
Whoa, my goodness.
122.60 for Penn.
What a swim. Six of them.
Let's thank our tremendous ISC Sports Network crew. Thanks to Jordan Shute, Wes Wolf, and Derek Schultz. Outside in the ISC van. Thank you to our camera operators, Brian, and Dennis tonight. Thank you to Jan Bozier. Thanks to Pete Smith for joining us on Wednesday. Bob Lovell along for the ride last night. And we'll take you home for the final of 6 games involving the Indiana All-Stars over the course of the last 4 days. Again, the experience is different than maybe it was a few years ago, where you would have 2 weeks together as All-Stars. The college commitments start earlier. Mike Broughton talked about 5 players into their schools tomorrow. This is kind of the end of the window, so it's a more compacted version of the game from what it used to be, but it's still special, Jan, every time Indiana plays Kentucky.
Well, let me tell you something. Obviously, last year was very difficult for just about anything and everything, and now to be able to bring this product back, and something tells me after what we've seen in the girls, what we'll see in the boys, next year this place, wherever it might be held, I hope and pray that this thing will be sold out. I really do, because that is the heritage of this, not only this Kentucky-Indiana rivalry, but that's what Indiana basketball is all about. It really is.
And the plan will be to play here next year, so the goal will be 7,000 seats. There you see Ryan Osborne, of course, the coach at Carmel, 21-1 in postseason games at Carmel High School. Indiana All-Star coach after just his 4th year as a varsity head coach. Behind him, that is Nate Hawkins, the head coach at Heritage Hills, and that is Mark Detweiler, also in your shot. Just giving the fist bump to Trey Kaufman-Wren. Mark, after doing a great job at places like Randolph, Southern, and Union County, now the head coach of the Delta Eagles.
You know, obviously the bar at Carmel in any sport is pretty high, but what he has pulled off in 4 or 5 years, Greg, is like nothing I've ever seen. You know, state championships, semi-state, you know, every year his teams have been as competitive as anybody in the state, and hopefully in most cases they have been really competitive for, you know, tournament play. And boy, I'll tell you, that team this year was as solid as anything you've ever seen. They never beat themselves. They were so well coached.
David Henley from Eastern High School is the man in charge of the Kentucky boys. Assisted by Scott Rusatz, Chris Gooey from Mayfield, John Whimsey from Holmes High School, and Aaron Matthews also on the staff from Louisville Eastern as well. Now we focus your attention to the center of the court for the singing of My Old Kentucky Home, and back home again in Indiana. Mickelson, fantastic job on this inning with both my old Kentucky home and back home again in Indiana. And yes, your eyes did not deceive you, Indiana Hoosier fans. That was James Blackman Jr. we showed you on camera, enjoying the singing of Back Home Again in Indiana. There is JBJ that we referred to a night ago. That is his mother to his right. And you go about 2 bleachers up and over to the right as you are looking at that camera shot. James Blackman Sr. in the middle of the Blackman brothers and BJ. They're all here. They all got good seats to watch Jalen finish the Blackman family high school legacy before he goes on to Grand Canyon University.
Is there any Blackman that didn't average over 30 points a ball game? I don't think so. If you're in the Blackman family, you average 30 plus a game.
So there you see Coach Blackman. Of course, he played at the University of Kentucky, so Kentucky viewers like, hey, I know who that is.
We know.
And Caleb First getting an award before tonight's contest as well. Jayla Smith going to be recognized too as Mr. and Miss Basketball. Both get special recognition from Executive Director of the Indiana All-Stars in Mike Broughton. And again, between Caleb and Jayla, 3 state championships on the floor, and Purdue University is well represented in that camera shot as well.
Good for Purdue.
And how about the fact that, you've got Indiana kids going to play at Purdue, and those Purdue coaches all played their high school basketball here in the state of Indiana. Of course, Katie Gerald, the head coach in waiting, the assistant coach this year for Sharon Versa, and obviously Matt Painter, he too, a Delta Eagle before making his way to play for Gene Cady at Purdue University. So now we will introduce the rosters and coaching staffs for Kentucky. We'll do the same for the state of Indiana. We don't officially have keys to this game, Jan, but what's it going to take for Kentucky to make this game perhaps a bit more competitive than it was a night ago?
They have to be competitive on the boards. They're not going to probably win the boards, but they can't get dominated. That's number one. And I think shot selection is going to be huge for them too. Against a much more physical, talented, perhaps, Indiana, they have got to make each possession counts, and for me, it's truly be competitive on the boards.
Darius Washington, first player introduced for Kentucky. Young man from Fern Creek High School in Louisville. He will play at the University of New Orleans. That is Sam Benson, who was the Gatorade Player of the Year in Kentucky, led his Highlands High School to the state championship at Rupp Arena in April. He will play at Northern Kentucky. Next up, this is Cam Pope from Mayo High School in Louisville. He will play at Jacksonville State. Next is Devin Perry. He and Sekou Kale led their DeSales Colts to the first Louisville Invitational Tournament. Back home, that's just called the LIT. First championship in school history. Aiden Mudd, he'll play for Scott Davenport at Bellarmine from Louisville St. Xavier High School. Mason Moore from Rowan County. This could be the last competitive basketball game he plays because his future is in baseball. He will pitch at the University of Kentucky. Here is Sekou Kale. He will play for Danville native John Gross at Akron University at 6'10". Last evening's leading scorer, Deshaun Jackson from Frederick Douglass High School in Lexington. He will play at Eastern Kentucky. He had 20 points an evening ago. Jacoby Huddleston is up next, set to play at Bowling Green, or sorry, from Bowling Green, I should say. Jaquaeus Franklin, Noah Dumas, and Ben Johnson. And I noticed that three of those young men do not appear that they are playing in this evening's contest. And so with that, Ben Johnson is the last name that's going to be introduced. That answers our question about shortening the bench. Looks like Kentucky has 9 players answering the bell for this evening's game.
I don't think they can afford to get it much shorter. And my question for you, I'm sure there has been, Man High School always has, it seems, an all-star on either the boys or girls ball club.
Male high school, absolutely. So now the Indiana All-Stars will be introduced. Again, Mike Broughton will get the first nod for Indiana. Steve Cox from Beech Grove High School, also part of the staff for the IBCA. trainers getting recognized as well. Assistant coaches will be walking onto the floor momentarily. Ryan Osborne played his college basketball for 100 at IUPUI. Was an assistant coach to Jason Young at Avon and then Scott Heading at Carmel. Of course, Scott now the head coach at Marian University. Mark Detweiler and Nate Hawkins had a great conversation with Nate before last night's game. And last night's game was awfully important to Nate just because it was so close to home, being in Owensboro, about 20 minutes away from Heritage Hills High School. And now the young men that will wear the Indiana across their chest. Cooper Jacoby has had 2 fantastic games in this building and on ISC over the years because they have played Blackhawk Christian in the Forum Tip-Off Classic here each of the last couple of seasons. Here is Brooks Barnheiser. Of course, his dad, a phenomenal basketball player. Spent time at both Purdue and Auburn. His head coach at Lafayette Jeff. Former coach of the Indiana All-Stars is Mark. And Brooks, again, he is injured, but he will get to play briefly at the start of this contest. Blake Sisley on your screen now. He'll play for Todd Licklider at the University of Evansville. His father played collegiately at Southeast Missouri. Pierce Thomas, both his mom and dad played at Illinois State. As we mentioned, Pierce was a track and field champion in the long jump his sophomore year of high school. He'll play at Butler. Brian Waddell, following his father Matt's footsteps in being an Indiana All-Star and playing for Purdue. He helped lead Carmel to the state championship a little more than 2 months ago. This is enemy territory, if you will, for Jaden Taylor, because he played at Perry Meridian, the township rival of Southport. Soon-to-be Butler Bulldog, getting the requisite fist bumps from his Indiana teammates. Luke Goody, Homestead High School. His team was undefeated going to the regional before being knocked off by the eventual state champs in Carmel. Luke will play for Brad Underwood at Illinois in the fall. Next, it's Blake Wesley from South Bend Riley. He led Riley to the regional final before losing to Gary Westside in the state tournament. And again, Blake, like J.R. Konieczny, will stay at home and play at Notre Dame. Jalen Blackman. We showed you James Jr. earlier. 2 of the 3 Blackman brothers finish in the top 20 in the history of Indiana high school points scored. Jalen finished 18th. He will play for Bryce Drew and Ed Schilling at Grand Canyon University. J.R. Konieczny. He is the all-time leading scorer in the history of St. Joseph's County. He will play at Notre Dame as well. Trey Kaufman-Wren wearing the same number he wore the last 2 years of his high school career, number 4. Young man that rated number 1 academically in his class at Silver Creek High School. Shamar Amance won 2 Marion County championships in this building for Lawrence North High School and head coach Jack Kiefer. He'll head to Miami of Ohio and play in the fall. Luke Brown, 4th in the history of Indiana high school basketball in terms of all-time points scored. 1 of 5 to have scored more than 3,000 points. And last but not least, Mr. Basketball, Caleb First from Blackhawk Christian. There you go, folks. Your 2021 Indiana Boys Basketball All-Stars.
Wow, just from top to bottom, Greg, you've got 3 30-point average shooters on there, or scorers, I should say. You've got guys who have scored thousands of points. Wow, I mean, you're talking about a resume for a ball club. I think I'll take that one any day.
So all the introductions have been taken care of, and it is now time to play a little basketball.
I think if you're Indiana, you want to just put the pedal to the floor early and just take Kentucky right out of this, and don't let them hang around.
Marcus Gossert is our lead official for tonight's contest. We got a tremendous crew put together for tonight's All-Star Classic. Again, starting 5 on the floor for Kentucky: Mudd, Jackson, Benson, Johnson, and Kale. For Indiana, Curious to see, is Caleb First going to give his starting spot to Barnheiser, or is it going to be somebody else? I think it's going to be Goody that steps out. Yep. So First, Kaufman Wren, Wesley, Brown, and Brooks Barnheiser. There's a lot of points on that floor.
I'm thinking so. And I'm also thinking Barnheiser's going, I ain't taking no layup. It's going to be 30-foot plus.
Barnheiser will play at Northwestern. There's a chance he's the point guard at some point in time for Northwestern at 6'6".
How about that?
Again, Brooks at Lafayette Jeff this past year. His stats were remarkable. 33 points a game, 11 rebounds, 7 assists, 4 steals a game. Barnheiser going to give the first bucket to Jackson. So Kentucky takes a 2-0 lead. And then Barnheiser going to go coast to coast. He's used to having 3 people guard him. This is rare for him. Let's casually get up and in. Horn goes, and unfortunately for Brooks, that's the end of his playing experience in the All-Star game. He played with a stress fracture in his foot for a good chunk of this season. That's the reason why he is not playing in this game. And he gets the handshakes and hugs from everybody on the sidelines. And now this game begins in anger 20 seconds in.
So much for the Patriots. I just think that's special they allow those young men to do that.
And again, that speaks highly of Kentucky that both of their staffs said, yep, we know you've got an injured player. Let's let him score.
Absolutely.
And we'll match you and let's move on.
Here we go.
So Vincent running the point. Again, 9 in uniform for Kentucky tonight. Having 10 didn't affect him earlier. Kale up and over First. Sekou Kale gets the bucket. Very impressed by him last night.
Well, he's got some really good size, and you can see what Kentucky wanted to do early is try to challenge inside.
This Indiana team's got great length. Wesley, no, but Goody. Like I said, he's hustling for every loose ball with this group. Couldn't save that one. Jackson had 20, going to play at Eastern Kentucky. I can tell you this as far as the players that are not playing for Kentucky tonight. The guys that got the majority of minutes last night are the ones that are playing this evening as Johnson got it to go. And already 3 different Kentucky players have scored. So they're off to a far better start than they had a night ago.
And that's what you have to do if you're going to challenge Indiana. You've got to get off to a good start. Indeed, so far, so good for Kentucky.
Wesley on the rebound, missed the putback. It is an Indiana team that will have a significant size advantage this evening. Pull from Jackson. Gets the friendly bounce. That's a 2.
How about that?
So he is continuing his hot hand from a night ago. And again, if you consider the game level at 2, 6 in a row now for Kentucky. Indiana led 14-2 last night. Kaufman around the jump hook. Good look, no. Goody, putback blocked, but there's First. And again, that's going to be there all night for Indiana.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, Goody is as good as anybody his size of really being aggressive on that offensive glass. Love to watch him play at Homestead.
Jackson wisely put that up on the rim knowing he was stumbling. Now it's 5-on-4 for Indiana. Goody can make that one. He's a 40% three-point shooter. Stops and pops, can't finish. Wesley got a hand on it, out of bounds to the team from the Bluegrass State. Johnson will inbound, Kentucky's Mr. Basketball. Johnson becomes the first Kentucky Mr. Basketball to play at Bellarmine. They will be in their second Division I year.
The stat itself averaged 27.3 at Lexington Catholic.
And Ryan Osborne is not messing around. He is not happy what he has seen. It takes an immediate 30-second timeout, and there's a little chewing going on from the Carmel head coach right now.
Well, you know he takes this stuff serious. You don't want to be that head coach on this All-Stars team, especially with this level of talent, and not produce.
Tonight's game presented in part by First Savings Bank. Get paid to bank with First Savings Bank with free Kasasa checking. Stop by one of the 15 convenient Southern Indiana branches and ask how. First Savings Bank, where you're always first. Member FDIC and equal housing lender.
You know, the message is, listen, y'all don't want to play hard. I got 9 guys over here that would love to be out there right now.
The threat of the bench is real for Team Indiana. By the way, a special presentation was just made by Indiana Executive All-Star Director Mike brought for Benny Crow, a gentleman who has made it to every All-Star game played since 1956. Congratulations. I'll tell you more about that story as we go along.
That's pretty cool.
It was a great story that Kyle Nedrip had in the Star this week about his story. Brown left alone and splashes that one home. He has in the gym range. Gonna play for Stetson in the Atlantic Sun. So the young men going to Bellarmine, they'll see a lot of Luke Brown the next 4 years. Jackson, an air ball.
Can you imagine getting the green light as a freshman to shoot from 35? I can remember the first time I was told about him. I watched him play. I go, no, freshmen. First of all, freshmen aren't allowed to shoot out there.
Wesley on the drive, no. Goody kept it alive, and Kaufman-Wren puts it home. And much like Kentucky, 4 different players have scored for Indiana.
Well, I think Coach Osborne got some attention there. Little more attention to detail here by Indiana.
Wesley, maybe the best on-ball defender in this group for Indiana. He draws the assignment on Mr. Basketball and Johnson. Vincent going to work. 3 in the corner, no good. Missed by Jackson. Brown the drive. Talley able to at least slow down the effort. But first was basically a walking double-double in high school. Grabs the board.
He is such a phenomenal rebounder.
Goody's 2 is short. Johnson will pull for 3. That does not go. Look ahead pass to Wesley. Wesley gets downhill, got fouled. That'll lead us to our first media timeout. Good back and forth between these rivals to start this game. Kentucky enjoying a 10-9 advantage. We're back after this on ISC and MyNDTV.
More selection, more savings, more for your trade. Ed Martin, the only name you need to know for all your transportation needs. 9 locations, serving Indianapolis, Fishers, Anderson, and Noblesville. 12 brands offering the best cars, trucks, and SUVs. At Ed Martin, you'll drive home happy in under an hour, guaranteed. Shop over 4,000 new and used vehicles at edmartin.com. Ed Martin, the only name you need to know.
Oh, baby, that got me awake.
The worm has turned in Logansport.
Look at that play.
The lob underneath, that is. You don't get any picture perfect more than that.
That young man will be glad that our cameras were here for tonight's contest. Tonight's game on ISC and MyNDTV presented by Bailey & Wood Mortgage Lender, Indiana's hometown mortgage lender. For all your home purchase and refinance needs, contact Bailey & Wood, 317-535-4804.
Indiana come out with a little more energy after Coach Osborne's timeout. As you so adequately called it, he means business. He wants this. He ain't going home losing. No way.
Ryan is the nicest guy in the world. And he will get in you
yes,
if he doesn't think you're giving a maximum effort.
As he should.
I have had the privilege of knowing Ryan for 20 years as he was a walk-on at IUPUI, where my days of doing radio for the team. So Ryan has been a friend for 2 decades. But again, greatest friend you'll ever have, nicest guy you meet. But he wants to win as bad as anybody you'll come across. So free throws coming up for Blake Wesley. I want to take this opportunity to thank some of the folks behind the scenes with the Indiana All-Stars. Thanks to their media relations director, David George. Thanks to Pat McKee. Does a great job of putting together all the records for the Indiana All-Stars. It makes our preparation for these broadcasts awfully easy. If you're just joining us, tip of the cap to Kentucky. Their girls team, after losing by 11 at home last night, came back and won by 2 here this evening, 78-76. 4th consecutive year that we have played that the Indiana-Kentucky girls split this series. Indiana looking for a sweep. Wesley misses from the free throw line. Wesley with 13 points a night ago. Got that to go. Wesley, 27 points and 6 rebounds a game for South Bend Riley.
And just like that, Indiana ties it up at 10 after a very slow start.
Kaufman-Renn read the passing lane, finds Luke Goody, finds the rim and flushes it home.
Great assist. Goody running the floor as he does so well. You know, they have Goody listed at 6'6". He is a good long 6'6".
Wesley the dig on Kale, and Indiana with 4 players 6'5" or taller on the floor. Mudd a look over the flying closeout from Kaufman-Renn. Kaufman-Renn got his hands in the passing lane again and arches that one towards the other end of the floor.
Did you see that possession? First challenge is everything down there around the rim. That's what you have to love him so much going to Purdue. It's certainly what he was able to accomplish at his high school. He is such a rim protector defensively. Blackhawk Christian, man, what a year.
Goody and Brown check out. Shamar Avance and Brian Waddell check in. The 2 MIC rivals who competed against each other in the 4A state championship. Shot clock's at 7. Washington in for Kentucky. Pope as well. Has to go up. Pope got it on the window and avoided the shot clock violation, but now Avance leads the break. And threw that one at Caleb First's feet. Folks, I'll give you a bit of a viewing tip. When Shamar has the ball in his hands, watch his eyes, because he is surveying like he's taking 1,000 frames a second, looking at everything around him.
Well, that's what makes him so special, being able to see other people and anticipate what they're going to do because he sees the floor so well.
He'll play for Jack Owens at Miami of Ohio. Of course, Jack, former Boilermaker assistant, played at Indianapolis Washington High School. Shot clock at 9. Vincent, a capable 3-point shooter. Waddell with him step for step. Vincent, no, and First.
There's another solid rebound.
Wesley looking to take flight. Great hands. Good job to knock that ball away by Jackson. And Indiana got out to a 14-2 lead last night. And then kind of just jabs with Kentucky until about the third quarter before stretching it to a 20-point game. Knesny will check in next at ball for Indiana. Looking to find Washington, going to play in New Orleans. And First with the block.
There he is again. I kid you not. One of the best I've seen in a long time around the rim defensively.
Kaufman-Renn couldn't finish. All-time leading scorer at Silver Creek is Trey. Benson gets downhill and scores it. Nice move. He'll play for a very successful Northern Kentucky program, Will Vincent. He'll play for Darren Horn at NKU. Avance, the floater. Shamar Avance, his first bucket.
That's his signature move, the little floater in the lane. One of the best at it.
7 different Indiana players have scored, and Indiana's in front by 2. Ball was tipped, and Washington lost it. Perry will check in for Kentucky. Young man from DeSales High School. He and Sekou Kale were high school teammates.
A little more independent substitutions now for Coach Osborne. I've seen last night, where at least early, a lot of complete 5-man line changes. A little more just this guy for that guy to try to keep the flow in place.
Avance, ball knocked away. Couldn't track it down. Already 8 of the 9 players in uniform for Kentucky tonight. Nice find. Mudd lays it up and in. Again, Mudd played at St. X in Louisville. And he will stay in Jefferson County to play for Scott Davenport at Bellarmine. Scott has won a national championship at Bellarmine University, the Division II level. First, how do you guard that?
You don't. That's that beautiful fall-away jumper.
16-14 Indiana.
Wow, Coach Osborne just really rotating players in and out here early.
Taylor and Blackman will check in for Indiana. Mason Moore will check in from Rowan County, Moorhead, Kentucky. Young man will play baseball at Kentucky after scoring over 2,600 points in his basketball career.
So here's what Coach Osborne does. He puts in a 25-point average player and a 33-point average player into the ball game.
Welcome to Indiana this year.
I guess.
Pope on the bounce. Couldn't finish that one. Waddell will track it down. Good hands by Moore. Couldn't save it. We have had young men in this game that have known this was their last basketball game because they were playing other sports in college. And since we've got a timeout or two ahead, we can expand that just a little bit. So 2 years ago, for example, DeJuan Jones playing for Indiana, now playing football at Ohio State. Go back a decade, Darius Latham for Indiana, played football at IU and played professionally in the National Football League. And there was another young man that was talked about, and again, in most years as Indiana All-Star, but I think there was some conversation, hey, maybe because he could still be playing baseball, he won't make the team. Well, Colson Montgomery today has led Southridge back to the baseball state finals for a third time in as many years as they could go during his 4-year career. Colson was a fantastic basketball player this year, led Southridge to the 2A semi-state game in hoops.
A quarterback.
And had to stop playing after his sophomore because he wanted to focus on baseball and basketball. Colson is likely a first-round pick.
Wow.
Coming up in the upcoming MLB draft. I saw a mock that had him at 22 earlier this week. So there have been others that have, known that, hey, this is maybe my last basketball game, and what a place to have it in an Indiana-Kentucky All-Star game.
Well, you and I called his game there at the Hatchet House, and he is just one physical specimen who could probably play at just about any sport he wanted to and be awful good at it.
In basketball, Mason was the 16th Regent Player of the Year in the state of Kentucky this past season. Tonight's game presented in part by M&M Body Shop, family-owned and operated since 1983 on Main Street in Brownsburg. M&M Body Shop offers full-service collision repair with a lifetime guarantee on their craftsmanship. Call Needham 317-852-6347. What is he that you're liking right now from Kentucky, Jam?
Well, I think they're just competing. At the end of the day, if you're going to have any shot at beating a team that's, supposed to beat you, you got to want to compete. And I think they have pretty well. They got off to a really good start. Since that time, I think Indiana's playing a little bit better, but right now, Greg, just a 2-point ball game. Hey, give another quick shout out for the ISC crew. Producing a lot of the state softball last night. Privileged to work with them last night until 2 in the morning.
You're making the ISC World Tour this weekend.
I love every second of it.
The state softball finals are about 15 miles away from here at Center Grove High School. After this weekend, from a high school athletic standpoint in Indiana, boys golf and baseball. Those are the last two things to finish.
Boy, they were tested last night between lightning and just a downpour. They had their work cut out and just came through gorgeous.
Shot clock at a dozen. Avans step back. Not there. Perry will lead the break for the rebound. Floater for Perry does not go, and there's Sisley. Heritage Hills High School. The home game for him was last night. Although Heritage Hills played a game in this building last year. They lost to Brownsburg in the 4M Tip-Off Classic here at Southport Fieldhouse. Taylor off the window.
Just a little crossover dribble in the lane, laid it up off the glass.
8 different Indiana players have scored.
I really like the way this group has come off the bench, Greg, and really playing with a lot of intensity and energy.
Sisley gets called for the foul. Team foul number 2 for Indiana. Kaufman, Wren, and Brown will check back in. Sekou Kale will check in as well. Cooper Jacoby and Pierce Thomas have yet to play for Indiana.
Waddell getting to play for his own coach. Waddell with 20 points in that state championship ball game that Carmel was crowned with this year in basketball.
The young man knows he will redshirt at Purdue next year because they have so many players coming back. Pope misses. Blackman grabs the rebound, leads the break. The fancy dribble, the no-look pass. Kaufman ran the finish.
That's basketball at its best right there. I love a great shot, but I like great passes even better.
Now Johnson. Perry open look for three and missed everything with that one. Sisley might have gotten a nudge in the back on that rebound. Johnson from Lexington Catholic High School gets called for leading with the off-arm.
Greg, you get the sense the intensity's picking up just a little bit here, really on both sides.
Last night, Indiana got their 100th win in the history of the series, and they have been dominant in this series over the last quarter century. The last time Kentucky won in this state, 25 years ago. Blackman, baseline three, rims in and out. Kaufman-Renn wants the ball because he's got a mismatch in the low block. Sisley. Luke Brown trying to find an angle to get to Kaufman-Renn. Made a space and let him go to work. Open look for Sisley. And he can knock that down. It's part of his arsenal.
Really good defense by Brown.
Johnson fires and misses, and Sisley draws the foul on Sekou Kale. Third foul against Kentucky, and now you see Kentucky's offense start to stall a little bit now. Here comes Cooper Jacoby.
I really think since that timeout that Coach Osborne called, the level of play for Indiana has certainly been much better.
Jacoby and Kaufman run on the floor together. They are the top two scorers in the history of Silver Creek High School. The man they passed, Dr. Steve Green, that played at Indiana University. On the play for the Indiana Pacers.
The dentist.
And now his Aurora Sleep Clinic here on the north side of Indianapolis. Kaufman-Renn going to be called for leading with the shoulder.
Yeah, pretty good call. Lower the shoulder when he took off. So much, I'm just going to say, Greg, just so much length on this Indiana ball club. You know, it's one thing to be 6'6", 6'7", but just the overall length is unbelievable. They play tall, they play above the rim.
The half court looks very congested when you're playing against Indiana. Cooper Jacoby got a piece of that. Jacoby will pull, and he loves this building.
Yes, he does.
I think he's had 30-plus points the two times he's played here.
You know, he made that shot look easy, but he stopped on a dime and got that 15-footer.
4 or 5 years from now, Cooper may start his own pro team at Southport Fieldhouse. And he can make a career of playing in this building. 30-second timeout. We'll keep it right here. Tonight's game presented in part by Tom Wood Toyota, your local Toyota dealer. Visit in Zionsville and Whitestown. And little did I know, during the break, they're the official Toyota dealership of Jan Bozier.
That is absolutely correct. I bought my Toyota Tundra, which I absolutely love. I love it, and got it from Tom Wood, and they took phenomenal care of me. First time I've ever bought a truck from them.
Sometimes you luck into things like that on the broadcast. During the girls' game, Jan goes, "That's where I got my Toyota."
Well, I showed what's the city they're in.
Well, we always call it Zionsville back in the day. Now it's known as Whitestown.
Whitestown, right?
Closer
Whitestown.
towards the exit.
I went to Whitestown because they took care of me, called me, and I couldn't have been treated any better. So there you go. How's that?
Tom Wood, you're welcome. 22-14 Indiana, largest lead of 8.
No extra charge.
So Vincent, guarded by Jaden Taylor. Part of that all-Indiana recruiting class for Laval Jordan. 3 local products. DJ Hughes also heading that way, and DJ will be a difference maker at Butler. Jackson, no. Kale, second time, yes.
Kale's been a little bit quiet, but he certainly can make things happen underneath.
He's going to be a factor in the MAC. He can really be a difference maker at the post position for Akron.
He's a solid young man.
Brown.
You know, you're talking about people who see the floor. And once again, just because Brown can shoot it from 35, I think he sees the floor really well.
Indiana's doing a great job of basically saying, okay, Where's the mismatch? Knowing that Kentucky really is playing with one big and not two. And they're getting whichever Indiana big has the mismatch, they're looking for him every time down. Kaufman-Renn misses, but that's what Cooper Jacoby does. Just hangs around the rim. The young man had 18 boards in the state championship game. Kaufman-Renn can go track it down 2, and he'll finish the possession with 2 buckets.
There's that length, Greg. When you have that type of length, he made that look easy. A lot of guys can't even get that shot off.
Jackson creates some space and could not finish. Brown will track it down. Long 2 that does not go. Mudd will track it down for Kentucky.
Kentucky doing a better job that possession on the rebound.
Pope poked away. Right to Vincent. Left it short. Put back, no. Crash, and eventually First with it. And First can lead the break, but realized didn't have the numbers, so he'll wait. And Kaufman-Renn got fouled.
That last possession on Kentucky's shot, Greg, I don't know who all they were, but I counted at least 5 pairs of hands above the rim.
Kaufman-Renn got smacked pretty good. He'll have 2 free throws when we come back. 7:09 to play in the first half. Indiana leads by 10. As you're watching on ISC and My Indy TV.
Meet Chip. 30 years ago, he started a small business with a big idea. Today, there's a new building, a new fleet of equipment, and a new era of leadership. But we know Chip, and at Indiana Members Credit Union, we know he plans to keep growing, building business with the next generation. IMCU is here to help with secure and simple account management tools and commercial financing to grow business. Today, it's all about Chip. Tomorrow, it's all about you. Because at IMCU, it's you that matters.
The drive, the take, fouled, and it goes!
Lobbing it to the back of the end zone. They're going to say it's a touchdown.
Left foot gets through. Goal for Vargas. Hamilton will score! Indiana's lead has grown to 10. There you see some of the junior All-Stars. Check it out from the girls' side. Checking out the action of the boys' game this evening. Tonight's game presented by Old National Bank. Giving it to Indianapolis with our enthusiastic and energetic team of associates providing equal client care and solutions. Voted one of the world's most ethical companies for 9 consecutive years. Your bank for Indianapolis and member FDIC. That is Ayanna Patterson that is on your screen. She will be a senior at Homestead this year, and she has verbal to play for Gino Auriemma at UConn.
Wow.
Kind of tells you, I don't even know about her game, right?
You don't need to know anymore.
No further description necessary.
You don't go there unless you're pretty well. He gets the best of the best.
And by the way, in warm-ups on Wednesday against the senior All-Stars, just casually throwing down some two-handed dunks.
Oh, wow.
Like it was no problem. Greg Rakestraw, Jan Bozier with you here on ISC and My Indy TV. 5 on the floor for Indiana. Jacoby, Kaufman-Renn, First, Wesley, and Brown. Pierce Thomas will check in after the first free throw. For Kentucky, Vincent, Pope, Mudd, Jackson, and Kale. And they dress just 9 tonight. 3 young men that played last night did not make the trip. However, I can tell you the players that scored the lion's share of points and played the lion's share of minutes, all back from last night for Kentucky.
Kaufman-Renn as well as being a phenomenal scorer, Greg. 11.4 rebounds per game. Averaged a double-double.
Yeah, when you and I were getting ready for the Silver Creek State Championship game, you see double-double, double-double, right back and forth between Kaufman-Renn and Jacoby. Vincent could not finish it off the hands of Jacoby. And Cooper will play at Toledo. So he and Sekou Kale will see a lot of each other the next couple of years. Both playing in the Mid-American Conference.
A lot of schools hope to get one caliber of that caliber, player of that caliber, and Silver Creek gets 2.
3 of 2 in the corner. Foot on the line. 2 for Pope. his first bucket. He'll play at Jacksonville State for former Kentucky Wesleyan coach Ray Harper. I think a delay of game warning was given. They're going to let Knesny check in for Indiana. Going to give Jacoby a breather. And with 14 players, they'll be at 13 because of the Barnheiser injury. There are guys that will not get the minutes they deserve in this game tonight. It's just the reality of it. That's how good Indiana is this year. Isolation for first. Jump hook left hand, and good look that he couldn't finish.
Love the jump hook.
Backdoor cut. First. Got a lot of ball, but got enough body to give you a whistle.
That's pretty play, a little backdoor. Perfect pass.
So Benson to the free throw line for the first time tonight. That would be, in case you had any question, that'd be David Henley. They didn't shoot many free throws last night, did Kentucky? And he is correct. That is the first free throw of the evening for the visitors from Bluegrass State.
You're not supposed to come to get Indiana to shoot free throws.
Benson makes them both. He's got a team high 6. 6 different players have scored for Kentucky tonight.
All that said, all joking aside, just still an 8-point ball game. Indiana, by no sense of imagination, has ran away with this thing.
Thomas traveled. And Thomas got on a hot streak last night. Scored 11 quick points in the second half. He's a young man that has dealt with some injuries since the basketball season that caused him to miss the track and field season this spring. And he knew that he'd be focusing on basketball as he went the college route. Shot clock at 18. Johnson in the corner for 3. That's his preferred spot.
Yeah, that's pretty good look. Just didn't fall. That's pretty good half-court possession by Kentucky.
Wesley got tripped up on his way. 6th foul against Kentucky. So no free throws just yet. Quickly, Jalen Blackman will check in for Indiana. Luke Brown will have a seat.
Did I read right where this Blackman is now the all-time league scorer at Marion? Is that right? That he's surpassed his brother?
I'll answer that in a second. Knesny's 3 does not go. I don't remember if the older brother played a year at Lures, and that's the reason why.
It could be.
Because if James Jr. played all 4 years at Marion, James has scored more points.
Right, but that being said, I still think I read that he's now the all-time league scorer at Marion. If indeed that is true, and I remember correctly, still that's surpassing a lot of really good players at Marion.
Kale gets the bucket. He's got 6. The lead is down to 6. Thomas, not that time. The offense is a bit stagnant for Indiana the last few trips down. Mudd poked away, 3v1. And Thomas, hello.
Like that. Love that.
I made this reference again last night or on Wednesday. We have this dunk of his from Pike last year that we call the phone booth dunk, where he stunned everybody in the building the way that he got up in limited space. Kale fouled by first. And free throws coming for the former DeSales high school product. What happens, fans, when you combine soccer, football, basketball, and a frisbee? It's the ultimate pro sport, the Indianapolis Alley Cats and the American United Disc League. Go to myalleycats.com to find the schedule, when you can check out the team at Grand Park in Westfield for only $11. That's myalleycats.com.
Check this out, Greg. I still got it.
Good job.
There's still hope for me. He indeed is the #1 scorer on Marion in Marion history. That, boy, you look at the players that's come through there. Wow.
Older brother James is 14th in the all-time scoring list. Konieczny couldn't collect the oop.
I had forgotten his brother played a year at Lawrence because that's where his dad was coaching at the time.
James at 2,387 career points. Jalen 2,269, and he missed the back half of last year due to a knee injury.
Yep, that's very true. Or they may have went a lot further than they went.
Kentucky a chance to close this lead down to 3 or 4.
Yeah, give a lot of credit to Kentucky, man. They just keep a lot like the girls, Greg. They just continue to battle and chip away.
First made 3 by Kentucky. Makes it a 1-possession game. Wesley to slip to first and score.
That's what Indiana's got to do right now to separate themselves, is take advantage of the length, especially first. He's not had a lot of touches inside. He's created a few off offensive glass.
Pope again. Not that time, but now let's see if Indiana can go on in transition. Wesley will pull from 16. So smooth, Blake Wesley. First field goal. Now Johnson, good pass to Vincent. Just didn't make the shot. That's pretty basketball, and Thomas using that leaping ability to go to the top floor for the rebound. Wesley, shot blocked by Kale. Vincent, and one.
Little hesitation dribble, got the defense to commit, used his body to draw the foul. That's pretty good play out of
Konieczny commits the foul, and that will send us to our final break before halftime. 3:08 to play in the first half. Indiana's lead is 5. You're watching from Southport Fieldhouse on ISC and My Indy TV.
How do you begin to tell a story of over 16,000 students and 2,500 employees in 23 different buildings, each with their own backgrounds and talents and goals, and yet we're still one community? We're one big, inclusive, welcoming, respectful family. The incredible choices beginning in the early learning centers and continuing through high school create opportunities and pathways to graduation.
We have a lot of opportunities and choices academically. We always try to give our students the upper hand.
There's no doubt that test scores are important, but teaching our young people the value of cross-cultural collaboration, empathy, problem solving, and critical thinking, that's equally important.
There are just so many different kinds of people that you can learn from and learn with. I am able to consider so many different perspectives.
This district is never willing to settle. It's always looking for the best results. Every student, every day. This is our story. This is Lawrence Township.
Oh, baby! That got me awake.
The worm has turned in Logansport.
Look at that play.
The lob underneath, and if you don't get any picture perfect more than that.
That young man will be glad that our cameras were here for tonight's contest.
The best video on the internet is not the guy of the last week or so. It's the surfing bulldog.
Expecto Patronum, like, Harry Potter. Everybody knows what I'm talking about at home.
I'm not
confused.
12.
You are one of the most disgusting people.
You asked. You open up the door. Squeaky. Colts quarterback room is kind of like picking your favorite Ernest movie. They're all pretty bad. You have
Did you actually see any of those?
You have to go. I really was a big Ernest. Yeah.
No way.
Ernest fan. Ernest Goes to Camp was my favorite.
The folks at Geico happy to salute Carmel Greyhound basketball. They just see their head coach and Ryan Osborne, Brian Waddell. Of course, on this team, too, in the girls' game, Bridget Dunn, an Indiana All-Star this year. Congratulations, Greyhounds, from your friends at Geico. So Vincent to shoot the and one. And again at halftime last night, Indiana's lead was, I believe, 13. Kentucky got it down to 8 at 44-36 before Indiana pulled away. Not the case here.
No, not at all. In fact, they could really whittle away a couple more here and get it within a one-possession game.
Goody back on the floor for Indiana.
Still two-possession game.
Kentucky has gone a perfect 5 of 5 from the floor.
Indiana has not really shot from outside except for Brown a little bit with a lot of productivity. Most of it's been going towards the rim.
Blackman in the lane, and there's too much traffic. 3-1. What a pass. Jackson got fouled. Well, Johnson won't get the assist, but a pretty feed nonetheless. And once get a chance to further slice into that lead as Jackson to the free throw line to shoot two. Avance and Kaufman-Wren return as Blackman and Wesley have a seat. Kale will check back in for Kentucky. Johnson will have a seat. This is the first time that we'll see Kentucky go with both bigs on the floor at the same time, as Washington at 6'8" joins Kale at 6'10".
That's pretty good size for Kentucky. They're trying to match up inside with the bigs of Indiana. Let's see how this works out. This will be interesting.
We've got both benches mic'd. You can kind of hear the coaches talking strategy tonight. One possession game.
You know, this game, Greg, has really kind of settled down to a much slower pace than I thought it would happen, and I think that favors Kentucky a little bit.
Absolutely. And Coach wearing a white shirt, so Taylor threw it his direction, but it was deflected by a Kentucky player. Shot clock at 4. Got to be quick here for Indiana. Goody. Kind of waited and at least got it on the rim. Possession continues.
Kind of slipped out of his hands a little bit.
Avance. Nope. And the rebound to Washington.
Indiana has just not shot well from outside here in the last 5 minutes at all.
Pope. Not that time. There's Kale.
That's a big-time rebound.
But he traveled.
Yep. That's a big-time rebound, but unfortunately for him, he walked. He can make some things happen in that middle, Greg. He takes up some space. He's a real physical guy. He's got a lot of upside, I think.
Indiana briefly led by 10. First, they're going to work through the post. Goody from 17. More got a piece.
Blocked.
First will save it. And then First got knocked to the floor by Washington. Immediately offers a hand up. Free throws coming. 1 plus the bonus for Caleb First. But Indiana has just been bogged down in the half court offensively. Indiana's been to the free throw line 4 times tonight. They have made 3. Kentucky is 6 of 7 from the stripe this evening. That one's long. And a chance to tie, this time down for Kentucky. Here's Perry, who'll play at West Virginia State. Shot clock at 13. Washington, the long-range shot, and First the rebound. Now Indiana gets going. Taylor, no.
Oh, no.
The Kaufman-Wren just hangs around, missed it. Avance, no. Now Goody passes up the 21-footer, misses the 17-footer.
How
about a 14-footer?
Missed it 7 times.
3 to tie it.
Oh, this could hurt.
Not that time. And now they're going to stop because Kaufman-Wren's, for a second time, kind of grabbing that hand. And Luke Brown will come in to replace him. So we will probably not see Kaufman running into the second half and hope he's all right.
Indiana's outside shooting woes just continue, Greg. Have just struggled from outside.
Only Luke Brown has made a three tonight for Indiana. He is back in the game now. Kale will check out as Indiana goes smaller. Kentucky matches.
Well, I think Indiana wants to pick up the pace here a little bit.
11-second difference, shot clock and game clock. First give and go to Avance. Off the window and scores it.
Beautiful move. And you can see what Kentucky, Greg, is doing. When first gets the ball, they want to double him as soon as he gets the ball.
Kentucky going to hold for one. Perry, good find to Moore, but forgot the basketball. Perry in time, but Taylor poked it away, and that is the end of the half. Great battle by Kentucky. They have hung around against this talented Indiana squad. Indiana leads it by 5, 36-31. Halftime show comes your way next on ISC and MyIndy.TV.
The Indiana-Kentucky All-Star Series on ISC Sports Network and MyIndy.TV is brought to you by Old National Bank, your bank for Indianapolis. Bailey & Wood Mortgage Lender, Indiana's hometown mortgage lender. By Donato's. Stop by Donato's and grab a pizza after the game. By Tom Wood Toyota, a proud supporter of the Carmel Greyhounds.
At Donato's, when we say we give you choices, we're not talking A or B. No, we're talking choices for days. Crust choices. And meats, and cheeses, and fresh veggies. Over 30 total toppings. That's like a gajillion possible combinations. Sorry, we're not trying to hurt your brain with math. We're just trying to say we have a whole lot of choices. And really, no such thing as a bad one. Tell them, Jane.
Donato's. Every piece is important.
First Savings Bank has.
Oh my God! We are ripping fast today. And how hard can it be, right? These are now selling for about $3,500. So we're back to our old ways of pulling rocks. Act like idiots on camera, open cards, and talk about the hobby.
The drive, the take, fouled, and it goes!
Lobbing it to the back of the end zone. They're going to say it's a touchdown.
Left foot gets through. Goal for Vargas. Hamilton will score.
Oh my God! We are ripping fast today. And how hard can it be, right? These are now selling for about $3,500. So we're back to our old ways of pulling rocks. Act like idiots on camera, open cards, and talk about the hobby.
Back at Southport Fieldhouse, Greg Rakestraw, Jan Moser with you. Again, Kentucky hanging around. Indiana leading at 36-31, but Kentucky has slowed this game down, and they have defended awfully well, and Indiana simply missed some shots, too.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Indiana just 1 for 6 from the three-point line, and that was by Luke Brown. Kentucky not much better from outside, a 1-11, but I think the pace of the game, Kentucky, and their defending the shots for Indiana has really made the difference.
Numbers in the first half, Kentucky 12 of 40 from the floor for 30%. Indiana 16 of 47 for 34%. Indiana 1 of 6 from three-point range. Kentucky 1 of 11. Indiana 3 of 6 from the free throw line, 6 of 7 for Kentucky. Rebounds 34-27 in favor of Indiana. 16-10 on the offensive glass. However, second chance points belong to Kentucky by a margin of 8-6. 5 assists to 6 turnovers for each team in the half. For Indiana, Trey Kaufman-Renn has 10. He is the game's only double-digit scorer. 9 points for Sam Vincent, 8 for Sekou Kale. And again, having 9 players for Kentucky tonight, they've been in a solid rotation. And David Henley has done a great job of coaching this team up in half number 1.
Yeah, he really has. We've clearly documented the difference in talent level, at least from a Division I recruiting perspective. But, you know, sometimes that doesn't matter. When you play hard, the good things happen. And I think, quite honestly, Kentucky has continued to match the intensity or the physicality of Indiana. There's been very little separation that probably should happen.
Sekou Kale, 8 points, 9 rebounds to lead Kentucky in that category. Caleb First has 8 rebounds to lead Indiana. We'll take this quick timeout. When we come back, a look at the first half highlights. Indiana leads at 36-31 as you're watching the Indiana-Kentucky All-Star Game here on ISC and MyNDTV.
Meet Chip. 30 years ago, he started a small business with a big idea. Today, there's a new building, a new fleet of equipment, and a new era of leadership. But we know Chip, and at Indiana Members Credit Union, we know he plans to keep growing, building business with the next generation. IMCU is here to help with secure and simple account management tools and commercial financing to grow business. Today, it's all about Chip. Tomorrow, it's all about you. Because at IMCU, it's you that matters.
First Savings Bank has a lot.
Oh my God! We are ripping fast today. And how hard can it be, right? These are now selling for about $3,500. So we're back to our old ways of pulling rocks.
Act like idiots on camera, open cards, and talk about the hobby.
Your life is on the go. Now your viewing habits can be on the go. With the ISC Sports Network app, your team is at your fingertips. You can download years' worth of content from the ISC Sports Network library. High school, college, special events, weekly and monthly shows, wherever you find your favorite app. And you can always find out more information at iscsportsnetwork.com.
A look at the first half highlights. Again, the first 2 baskets predetermined to allow Brooks Barnheiser to get a bucket and to play in this All-Star game despite the fact that he's dealing with injuries. After that, it was on. And Jan, the better start belonged to Kentucky.
No doubt about it. I thought they come out of the gate really strong and kind of set the tone physically against Indiana. Really a much taller and better physical team than them. But, hey, sometimes that doesn't matter when you play hard.
Indiana got rolling. Got the lead to 10 at 26-16, but again, Kentucky would answer.
Right, and I'll tell you, Indiana has so many good shooters, and right now, we haven't found them. Really, only Brown had one decent 3 from outside. Short of that, 3-point shooting has been non-existent.
If you're Ryan Osborne, what's your focus with your guys at halftime?
I think it's ball rotation, get better shot selection. You have a tendency in all-star games to go a little more one-on-one, perhaps, and you get it, athleticism there, but you got to play a little more team ball.
10 of 14 Indiana players have scored in tonight's contest. Only J.R. Knesny, Jalen Blackman, Brian Waddell, and Blake Wesley have yet to crack the scoring column. Again, for Kentucky, they have played 9. 6 players have scored. Ben Johnson, Deshaun Jackson, Sekou Kale, Sam Vincent, also scoring for Kentucky so for this game. Aiden Mudd, as well as Cameron Hope.
You know what's interesting about this score, we talk about the shooting woes of Indiana. Kentucky didn't exactly line it up from outside, but somehow, some way, they're only trailed by 5.
Our friends at Ed Martin Automotive Group want to congratulate the pair of Lawrence North All-Stars that are playing in the All-Star games this weekend. Jayla Smith, Indiana's Miss Basketball, and Shamar Evans saw one of his highlighted buckets just a few moments ago. Ed Martin is the only name you need to know. And again, Chan, those All-Stars are numbers 24 and 25 in the 45-year history of Lawrence North High School. With that, we'll take a quick timeout, come back with more halftime coverage from Southport Fieldhouse. Indiana leads it by 5. You're watching on ISC and MyNDTV.
How do you begin to tell a story of over 16,000 students and 2,500 employees in 23 different buildings, each with their own backgrounds and talents and goals? And yet, we're still one community. We're one big, inclusive, welcoming, respectful family. The incredible choices beginning in the early learning centers and continuing through high school create opportunities and pathways to graduation.
We have a lot of opportunities and choices academically. We always try to give our students the upper hand.
There's no doubt that test scores are important, but teaching our young people the value of cross-cultural collaboration, empathy, problem solving, and critical thinking, that's equally important.
There are just so many different kinds of people that you can learn from and learn with. I am able to consider so many different perspectives.
This district is never willing to settle. It's always looking for the best results. Every student, every day, This is our story. This is Lawrence Township.
When I come to work every day, I really feel like I'm at my home away from home.
We've got careers in sales, service, claims, and more.
It's a great place to get your career started, grow, and stay.
I expected a job, but what I got was a career.
Your life is on the go. Now your viewing habits can be on the go. With the ISC Sports Network app, your team is at your fingertips. You can download years' worth of content from the ISC Sports Network library. High school, college, special events, weekly and monthly shows, wherever you find your favorite app. And you can always find out more information at iscsportsnetwork.com.
Again, part of what Mike Broughton has done in terms of adding to the entertainment factor of the Indiana Kentucky All-Star Series, whether it's at Bankers Life Fieldhouse or here, is to make it a show, is to try to bring some elements of Pacers basketball, of NBA games, etc. This, of course, trickles down to the college level as well, where you see halftime entertainment. We got the jump rope kids out for this. We had a dance trip before that. We had baton twirlers for the girls' game. There are things that happen in every media timeout. You're trying to make this an entertaining show for everybody and anybody here in the building tonight.
And why not? Everybody's having a great time. These guys, these jump rope people, Greg, you and I can do a whole lot of things. This ain't one of them. We ain't doing this one.
Congratulations to Mike Broughton and his great staff from the Indiana All-Stars again. We are in this building this year because of renovations at Bankers Life Fieldhouse. We will be back here next year as well. And after that, we'll see if it's moved back to Bankers Life Fieldhouse or simply keeping the game here. The goal a year from now, 7,000 strong here at Southport Fieldhouse.
And that should be an absolute goal, and no reason why it shouldn't happen. Indiana deserves it, the tradition deserves it, and these young men represent. You know, there's only 14, but clearly they represent every young man and every woman who plays high school basketball. A piece of them is here tonight.
In case you're just joining us, the Indiana girls fell to Kentucky tonight, 78-76, as the two teams split their games this weekend, with Indiana winning at Owensboro last night, 69-58. We'll take this quick timeout. We'll come back. Second half action is not far away from Southport Fieldhouse. Indiana leads by 5 on ISC and MyIndy TV.
When I come to work every day, I really feel like I'm at my home away from home.
We've got careers in sales, service, claims, and more.
It's a great place to get your career started, grow, and stay.
I expected a job, but what I got was a career.
The best video on the internet is not the guy of the last week or so. It's the surfing bulldog.
Expecto Patronum, like, you know, Harry Potter. Everybody knows what I'm talking about at home.
I'm not
confused.
12.
You are one of the most disgusting people I've ever met.
You asked. You open up the door. Squeaky. Colts quarterback room is kind of like picking your favorite Ernest movie. They're all pretty bad. You have
Did you actually see any of those?
You have to go. I really was a big Ernest. Yeah.
No way.
Ernest fan. Ernest Goes to Camp was my favorite.
Look at Jaden Taylor from Perry Meridian High School, headed for Butler University. He is the subject of our IMCU salute. Folks at Indiana Members Credit Union, congratulate Jaden on his accomplishment of being an Indiana All-Star and wish him the best of luck at Butler. IMCU.com has more information. And again, for a lot of folks, this is their first chance to see Jaden because he played for a great high school basketball coach in Perry Meridian. They have not had a great deal of success the last couple of seasons. He was a guy that wasn't maybe that high up the recruiting charts and committed to Butler somewhat early because LaValle Jordan said, hey, we think there is a great talent here that can develop, and certainly has looked the part the last couple of games.
Yeah, no doubt about it. He brought the first winning season to Perry Meridian in 6 years, and you know they got the right coach, and he is a player that they built on and was able to get this thing turned around. Look for Perry to really feed off what he started.
If you're Ryan Osborne, what do you want to see to start half number 2?
I think the first thing is, guys, a lot of you young men play for a state championship, and you know what intensity and what level you had to play at to finish the deal. You got to bring that tonight, or Kentucky's going to sneak up on you.
Kentucky's got to be all smiles. Again, it was a 13-point game at halftime last night. It became 8 early in the second half, where Indiana kind of stretched at 20 and was able to kind of rather casually put the game away in the last 5 or 10 minutes or so. But tonight, this is competitive going to half number 2.
Well, I think they start inside to get it to first. Start with him. Get all the defense, sinking in on him. Then allow your shooting to come after he gets going inside, and some of the other guys as well. I thought Wren played very, very well, and I think those guys inside can get things started, then go inside, outside.
Ryan Osborne chatting things up with his team. David Henley doing the same on the other bench for the Kentucky All-Stars. Thank Mike Broughton numerous times during the broadcast as well. We should, but I want to thank the good folks at Kentucky as well. Thank you to Scott Chalk, who heads up the game from the Kentucky Association of Basketball Coaches. Thanks to JR and Kayla Van Hoos for their help a night ago down in Owensboro. They are both here with Team Kentucky tonight. Folks in the Owensboro Sports Center were tremendous to work with an evening ago, and the same can be said for Brian Murphy and his fantastic staff at Southport. Again, Jane, you can really see they were happy to showcase this venue to 2 states tonight.
You've had a lot of fun this week, haven't you?
I've had a lot of sports to talk about this week.
Hey, I admire it because you're the best, man. And to be able to be a part of bringing this tradition back is so special. You know me, I get fired up about this stuff.
Look forward to doing this already 52 weeks from now. Mudd, Johnson, Calais, Vinson, and Jackson starting 5 for Kentucky. Goody, Brown, Taylor, and Wesley along with First. And that'll be a hold on Goody.
Well, any good coach will tell you, if you want to get things started, you start it at the defensive side with intensity.
So I do not see Kaufman-Wren on the bench for Indiana.
Yeah, he was shaking up a little. He hurt his hand, did he not?
Yep.
Well,
his night might be done, unfortunately.
Well, he was the only double-figure scorer for Indiana in that first half.
We'll keep an eye out on that. So it's Taylor that got the starting spot for Kaufman-Wren. And again, Goody gave his spot up to Barnheiser, knowing he'd score the first basket and leave for Indiana. Shot clock at 6.
I think much better defense out of Indiana here in the half court.
And as evidenced by a Brown tip away, take away. Taylor, Wesley, got it.
Yeah, who led the break? First rebounds it, makes a really nice pass.
So 5 for Wesley. Vincent open for 3 and buries it. Vincent, a dozen.
Timely shooting, really timely. He got caught with a defensive rotation, got stuck, and he was wide open.
Just the second made 3 for Kentucky. Calais whistled for the foul. He will play at Akron for John Gross, former head coach of both Illinois and Ohio. And a guy we know very well because he is from this area, Danville, Indiana. Brown for 3. Got that one too.
And they need to get him. If they can set him a few more high ball screens, no better shooter on this floor than him.
Looks like he had a foot on the line. That's a 2. I thought it was a 3. 40-34 the score. Vincent and Taylor got him on the arm. So 2 free throws coming up.
Brown, 3,011 points. That is a bunch.
Vincent, a young man with a GPA over 4. 9th region player of the year. 22 points, 9 boards, and 6 assists a game.
That's good. I think it's going to be key for Kentucky to stay in this game. They've got it. They've not been to the free throw line a lot, but when they get there, they really need to hit them with the dead ball.
Well, if Kaufman-Wren is done for the night, Indiana's going to play a little different. That changes the face of this game. It left with a hand injury. Got it hit a couple of different times during the game. Bobble by Wesley, has simply lost the handle. Vincent gets downhill, and Taylor got him clean, but Wesley on the reach. Called for the foul. 2 shots. Credit Vincent for being aggressive and getting to the rim.
Yeah, you got to like the fact that Kentucky has ended up at the free throw line 2 straight possessions, and I think this falls in to what they want to do, slow the game down and get to the free throw line.
Jalen Blackman going to check in for Indiana, as Wesley will have a seat, picking up the foul. Indiana a game high 14.
Indiana's now got a lot of shooters on this floor. We'll see if that turns into shooting.
Good to see Kaufman-Renn on the bench. Hand's got a pretty significant wrap on it.
I think Coach Osborne's seen that Kentucky went a little bit smaller here, so he goes a little bit smaller as well. Brings in some shooting power.
Taylor down the lane, left it short, but he got hit. Foul against Vincent. And Taylor to the free throw line. We'll keep our eyes there. You see Kaufman-Renn, the wrapped right hand. We're not sure if we'll see him again or not tonight.
That probably means he's done. We'll see.
He and Brooks Barnheiser having a lengthy conversation.
I suspect you're saying this ain't no fun.
I'll see you in the Big Ten next year.
That's right.
Taylor makes them both, 6-point lead. Mudd in the corner for 3. Good look by Vincent. Vincent's been the fulcrum point for Kentucky offensively tonight. Brown gets downhill. Great find to Goody. In rhythm. Missed it. Johnson will track it down for Kentucky.
Goody has just somewhat struggled from outside. He's usually a pretty good outside shooter.
Jackson for 3. That's a 3-point game. 42-39. And Jackson will play at Eastern Kentucky. First. Kicks to Blackman for 3. And missed that one. And then stepping out of bounds is Jackson. Going for the loose ball. It'll remain Indiana basketball. Indiana's getting some good looks that normally for these shooters would go down.
Yeah, they really are. I can't quite answer what's going on. I mean, you're talking some of the best shooters this year, and they have just kind of struggled.
Brown off the curl, and
he did.
Traveled.
Absolutely did. Shuffled his feet. Good call.
Great job by Johnson to fight through the screen. And a chance to tie, this time down for Kentucky.
Indiana just not sharp right now, Greg. Just not. Well, it's a great opportunity for Kentucky. Indiana not shooting well at all, kind of out of sync. Boy, if you're the opponent of a team like that, you want to really work hard and take advantage.
Great defense by Taylor. Even though he stumbled, he threw Jackson off his game, and Jackson dribbled on the sidelines. Two-man game between Brown and First. Caleb First missed that one.
Boy, Indiana went a long time without scoring.
Tied up 3 for Johnson, does not go, and Washington had that tipped away by Indiana. Six points since the break for Indiana.
Well, certainly nothing for high school guys to play Friday night, Saturday night.
Right.
They did that all year long.
Vincent fouled. And Vincent being aggressive and getting around the rim has been a game changer for Kentucky.
And a lot of rotation players as well, so you're not even playing the same minutes. So
for Vincent, these are free throws 8 and 9 of the evening. Vincent's first free throw is good. Tonight's game presented by Indiana Members Credit Union. Proud to support high school athletics. IMCU is a full-service financial institution offering free checking accounts with e-statements, low auto rates, and more. See what IMCU can do for you at imcu.com. Membership savings required, federally insured by the NCUA. 1 point game.
Avance ready to come in.
First. No. Taylor fights for the loose ball and keeps the possession for Indiana. Avance will come in for Luke Goody. Johnson will have a seat as Pope returns.
Be ready, Cam. Good job, Sean. Stay up, Aiden, get through.
Shot clock at 15.
Get over.
Blackman draws the foul. And for both teams, it's just simply become, hey, see if I can take my guy to the rim and draw contact.
Yeah, this has really turned into a dribble drive, both ends, half-court type battle. Not really sure how to explain the lack of shooting tonight, Greg.
And this is typically a shooter's gym.
It is. This is a shooter's gym, and we've got shooters all over the place, and for whatever reason, just not happening. Let's give some credit to the other team's defense.
Blackman goes 1 for 2, and Kentucky can tie with a 2 or take the lead with a 3. Step back Vincent for the lead. Not that time, and First.
Wow.
Elevates for the rebound. Blackman spot up 3, and that's short. Saw that one come out of his hands. Jackson fighting his way through traffic. Washington for the lead. Barely grazes the rim. Now Avance will push the tempo. Shamar finds Taylor for the basket.
Pass. That's what Avance does as well as anybody. Dribble, drive, and dish.
Vincent will kick it to Jackson. Jackson for 3. Now Brown the rebound. Indiana on the run. No look, Taylor. Taylor buckets. And Indiana getting some looks in transition. Timeout, Kentucky. We will take it with them. And the Indiana fans applaud the uptick in play of the home team. Indiana leads by 6 as you're watching on ISC and My Indy TV.
Tom Wood Toyota is your Toyota deal headquarters. We have hundreds of cars to choose from, all with great deals. Visit our showroom in Zionsville, Whitestown off 865 and 65, a short drive from anywhere in Indy. Help Tom Wood Toyota become the #1 Toyota dealer in the Indianapolis area in 2021. We'll earn your business with the best deals in town. New Toyotas or pre-owned cars, trucks, or SUVs. We have a deal waiting for you. Tom Wood Toyota, your dealer with today's deals.
Your life is on the go. Now your viewing habits can be on the go. With the ISC Sports Network app, your team is at your fingertips. You can download years' worth of content from the ISC Sports Network library. High school, college, special events, weekly and monthly shows, wherever you find your favorite app. And you can always find out more information at iscsportsnetwork.com.
Tonight's game presented in part by Geico. Hello, sports fans. Geico want you to know that they're hiring as a promote from within company. Geico is dedicated to ensuring you can learn and advance your career right here. Geico is committed to their customers and the Indianapolis community. Learn more and apply today at geico.jobs/Indy. Come be a part of the Geico team. Indiana unable to separate themselves from Kentucky so far in this one, but back-to-back buckets in transition have stretched the lead to 6.
Yeah, it really has, and you could hear the coaching staff for Kentucky how bad they want this thing and really felt like they had their team exactly where they wanted. They're still only a couple possession down, and the timeout was called, and he's in their face. You can tell how bad both these ball clubs want this victory.
I thought David Henley did a great job of coaching them up a night ago, and they got beat by 23. Doing a tremendous job tonight for Kentucky as well. 5 on the floor for Indiana. Blackman, Avance, Brown, First, and Taylor. For Kentucky, Mudd, Washington, Vincent, Pope, and Johnson checks back in. And Kentucky will bring the ball the length of the floor. I want to thank our wonderful partners on Circle City Broadcasting, partnering with us to bring these games to the television audience throughout central Indiana. Next time we'll be on the MyIndy TV airwaves will be in early July for the North-South Football All-Star Game. On July 9th from Ben Davis High School. Pull up by Johnson. Brown got him on the arm. And Johnson will shoot two. The 30-second timeout counted as a full timeout. And this one will be a media timeout as well. So one more time, we'll step aside. Indiana leads by 6. Kentucky's got 2 free throws when we come back. Here on ISC and MyIndy TV.
Tom Wood Toyota is your Toyota deal headquarters. We have hundreds of cars to choose from, all with great deals. Visit our showroom in Zionsville, Whitestown off 865 and 65, a short drive from anywhere in Indy. Help Tom Wood Toyota become the #1 Toyota dealer in the Indianapolis area in 2021. We'll earn your business with the best deals in town. New Toyotas or pre-owned cars, trucks, or SUVs. We have a deal waiting for you. Tom Wood Toyota, your dealer with today's deals.
The drive, the take, fouled, and it goes!
Lobbing it to the back of the end zone. They're going to say it's a touchdown.
Left foot gets through. Goal for Vargas. Hamilton will score! Tonight's game presented in part by the Metropolitan School District of Lawrence Township, the district of destination where excellence empowers everyone to reach their full potential. Enrollment now open to the 4 NACE-accredited early learning centers with free summer childcare offered at ELC Winding Ridge for any student entering pre-K or kindergarten in August. Through innovation and dedication, we educate all students through graduation. Learn more at ltschools.org/early-childhood.
Both coaches, Greg, are trying to push these all-stars down the stretch here, trying to make them understand, listen, this game is still anybody's game. How bad do you want it? Try to instill to them to listen. Every possession now is super important. Make it count.
.57 left to go. 6-point lead for Indiana. No changes on the floor for Indiana. Pope and Perry will return for Kentucky. Johnson will stay on the floor, actually. He'll shoot 2 free throws. Johnson, 1 basket tonight, 2 threes made last night for Kentucky's Mr. Basketball from Lexington Catholic High School. One of 2 players on the floor for Kentucky who'll play for Bellarmine next year. Mudd the other.
You hear that? Authoritative.
Second free throw is good as well. Kentucky has made a living at the line tonight. 4-point game.
Well, first of all, they're doing a great job of getting there. Second of all, they're starting to pick up hitting him. That's really kind of kept them hanging around here, Greg.
Brown for 3. Great play design by Indiana.
And coaching staff from Kentucky knew it. They absolutely knew that Brown slipped through that, and they didn't get a rotation over defensively.
Second made 3 by Brown. He's got 8. 3-possession lead for Indiana. Vincent takes the bump from Blackman. That's 6 fouls on Indiana. So the next one will send Kentucky to the bonus with over 14 minutes left to play. Perry in. Mudd will have a seat.
Brown, quite honestly, has been the only really outside consistent threat for Indiana.
Here's Washington. And to play for the University of New Orleans. Nowhere to go against Caleb First. Shot clock at 11. Pope gets a ball screen and gets around First. Nice bucket. 7 for Pope.
That's big possession for Kentucky. Now they steal it again, Greg. Look out.
Trying to find First. Pope in the corner. Avance flies by. Pope misses it, and First snares the rebound. Brown left alone. Pope the rebound. Now Pope will pull from 16 and make it. 9 for the Louisville male graduate.
One possession ball game. Here we go again.
Now Avance alone for 3 and gets the friendliest of Southport bounces.
Hey, Avance going, what do I got to do?
Pope again. Heat check for Pope. Still warm. He's got 11.
Yes, sir.
He'll play at Jacksonville State in Alabama in the OVC. Jump hook first and
unstoppable. When he gets it and he gets it, the pass in the right possession, that half hook, you can't stop it.
Both teams getting going now. And it's now 5v3. Avance, Blackman, nope, wide left. But there's First yet again.
First had 7 or 8 rebounds in the first half. He's had a bunch already here.
And he's got a mouse in the house being guarded by Pope. Taylor will drive and kick to Blackman instead. Blackman's runner, no, but there's Caleb First and gets a foul, and that's First just carving out space the way that he has done throughout his high school playing career. Played for Mark Davidson at Blackhawk Christian. Coach Davidson, you're watching tonight. A warm hello to you. Mark is going through a cancer fight for a second time, and in talking with some of the Blackhawk folks this week, they say, now Mark wouldn't tell you if he's having a bad day, but it seems that things are going well for him. So
we sure hope so.
Best wishes for you, Coach.
Absolutely.
We're thinking about you.
Absolutely. What a great, great job. And I'm told that he didn't miss a day during the regular season.
Doesn't surprise me. Still competing in the strongman competitions, by the way.
I can believe that, too.
And still dunking basketballs at his age as well. First makes them both. He's got 10. So back to an 8-point game. Johnson for 3. Good look that wouldn't fall again. Good 3-point shooter.
Caleb First is getting close to the 20 rebound mark.
Taylor, 3, got it. That's Wesley.
Great assist by Brown.
Wesley with 8.
Little spark there. A couple outside shots now have started to fall now for Indiana.
And Pope stumbled. And I love the fact that Pope got with a smile. Offered him his hand. Because Shamar doesn't back down for most, but if you offer a hand, he'll acknowledge it as well. Timeout call. Let's step aside. 11:51 left to play. Indiana's lead now stretches to 11 on ISC and MyNDTV.
More selection, more savings, more for your trade. Ed Martin, the only name you need to know for all your transportation needs. 9 locations, serving Indianapolis, Fishers, Anderson, and Noblesville. 12 brands offering the best cars, trucks, and SUVs. At Ed Martin, you'll drive home happy in under an hour, guaranteed. Shop over 4,000 new and used vehicles at edmartin.com. Ed Martin, the only name you need to know.
Your life is on the go. Now your viewing habits can be on the go. With the ISC Sports Network app, your team is at your fingertips. You can download years' worth of content from the ISC Sports Network library. High school, college, special events, weekly and monthly shows, wherever you find your favorite app. And you can always find out more information at iscsportsnetwork.com.
Greg Rakestraw, Jan Bozier with you on the ISC Sports Network. 60-49, Indiana again. For everything Kentucky has done well, Jan, they're down by 11 points.
Well, I thought the last couple of minutes, Indiana had a little spark to him, really led by Brown. He had some shots outside. And I'll tell you what, he can really see the floor as well. You know, a lot of people don't talk about how he can really.
So back at Southport Fieldhouse, Greg Rakestraw, Jan Bozier with you on ISC and MyNDTV. And again, even though it's not been easy for Indiana, they now have built a bit of a cushion, an 11-point lead.
Yeah, I was talking about Brown not only shooting the ball, but finding others and getting them involved. Really felt like he has played super here the last 2 or 3 minutes.
So Luke Brown, Shamar Avance, Blake Wesley, Jaden Taylor, Caleb First. They have gotten the lion's share of minutes here in the second half. And we saw this from the Kentucky girls side. They played 6 in the second half of their game and won. Minutes have been shortened for Indiana here as well. Indiana's played 7 here in the half. First from 17. No, but there's Avance. Fight for the loose ball. Somehow got it again and found Wesley.
Oh my, everything but going through the net.
Now Perry flying down the floor for Kentucky. And Vincent couldn't track it down. Brad Stevens, known for saying the game rewards toughness. The game rewards Shamar Avance a lot.
That's right. He's a special player. He does some things that very few people can do.
Jackson returns for Kentucky. Mudd as well. Perry and Johnson have a seat. Only Moore has not played in the second half for Kentucky. He got good minutes in half number 1.
Brown's getting a lot of minutes down the stretch here, him and First.
First off the window. Well, didn't need the window. He got the bucket anyway.
Yeah, and I think Indiana needs to, down the stretch, really go through him.
Jackson going to work and scores it. Tough bucket.
Boy, and Brown had a hand in his face, and he still made it.
That's a 2 for Jackson. Indiana had crept that lead to 13 before he got that one to go. Jackson now in double figures in both games. He's got 30 combined for the 2 nights. Backdoor cut by Taylor and just couldn't hang on to it.
Well, still tons of time. Indiana, I thought, had played better the last 3 or 4 minutes. You can't get sloppy now to finish this thing out.
Mudd had the mismatch. And between Brown and Taylor, they get their money's worth on that foul. Aiden Mudd will shoot 2. Aiden, 22 boards in a game this season for St. X. Is also young for a senior. Does not turn 18 until July.
Yeah, that is young.
Again, part of Bellarmine's recruiting class. It includes Mr. Basketball from Kentucky and Kurt Hope from Bar Reeve. Helped lead the Vikings to the 1A state championship. Mudd misses them both. Tipped away from Kale. Good hands by Indiana. Mason Moore will check in next at ball for Kentucky. First going to work, setting up that jump hook. Too strong. Transition look for Kentucky. Kick in the corner for Pope for 3. Now First can lead the break. Taylor, Avance, basket.
Now once again, that starts with First off the glass. He sees the court, he immediately rebounds and then looks up to see if he can get that ball out the court.
Pope loses the handle. And Kentucky will take a 30-second timeout with 9.5 minutes remaining. Kentucky has 2 timeouts they can use. Indiana still has 3. Tonight's game presented in part by M&M Body Shop. Family owned since 1983 on Main Street in Brownsburg. M&M Body Shop offers full-service collision repair with a lifetime guarantee on their craftsmanship. Call when you need them, 317-852-6347. Thank you, Drew Connor, for your support. Anytime we have a Hendricks County athlete or team on ISC, Drew and the folks at M&M are great about stepping up and supporting our local broadcasts.
Well, Indiana now, Greg, with a 13-point lead. And a lot of those have been off the rebounds and transition buckets. They have shot the ball a little bit better here in the last few minutes. Avance, I think, off the bench has kind of gave them a nice spark as well. You see Mr. Avance in your shot.
Kentucky looking for a first win in Indiana since 1996. They've won just 7 times in total during that run. Last one in 2018 at Bellarmine. Wesley couldn't finish at the rim.
Just did everything right. He separated, getting it above the rim.
3 in the corner for Mudd. Knew that was off as soon as he let it go. But Jackson tracks down the loose ball. Pope, the bump. Got enough space to knock it down, and again, he has carried the freight in the second half for Kentucky.
Coach Osborne has to let this 5 play a lot of minutes now. They know Brown's got the ball. They're telling the defense, don't give him any room.
Shot clock at 10. Trying to isolate first for that reason right there. Knew he had a mismatch.
Little exclamation mark.
He threw the pitcher the curveball.
Yes, he did.
Did first.
Yes, he did.
Pull up 3 by Jackson, no, and Taylor the rebound. Got Wesley out in front, lost the handle, somehow tracked it back down. First time Wesley was fouled on the first attempt. So wave off the putback. 2 free throws coming up for Blake Wesley. Blake Wesley's dad played at Ball State University. He's 1 of 2 from the free throw line tonight. 8 points in total. Wesley in double digits an evening ago. It has been methodical for Indiana tonight, but that lead has now grown to 14 with 8:21 to play.
You know, what a privilege to get that number 1 on your jersey. I'll tell you, Caleb has not disappointed.
Purdue fans should be absolutely giddy about what their basketball team looks like going to next year. Pope, the deep 3, no. And Avance will track it down, and then Avance will lose it. Vincent, his break was brief. Moore will come back in.
Well, this group has really extended its lead. And Coach Osborne has just let him stay in there and play right now.
Mudd for 3 in the corner. Kale the rebound, and first squared up, took the charge. Now, in college, he's probably in the semicircle.
Right.
We don't have that line of demarcation tonight. Offensive foul is called. Media timeout. Here we go. Indiana leads by 15. They have the ball when we come back on ISC and MyIndy TV.
Meet Chip. 30 years ago, he started a small business with a big idea. Today, there's a new building, a new fleet of equipment, and a new era of leadership. But we know Chip, and at Indiana Members Credit Union, we know he plans to keep growing, building business with the next generation. IMCU is here to help with secure and simple account management tools and commercial financing to grow business. Today, it's all about Chip. Tomorrow, it's all about you. Because at IMCU, it's you that matters.
More selection, more savings, more for your trade. Ed Martin, the only name you need to know for all your transportation needs. 9 locations, serving Indianapolis, Fishers, Anderson, and Noblesville. 12 brands offering the best cars, trucks, and SUVs. At Ed Martin, you'll drive home happy in under an hour, guaranteed. Shop over 4,000 new and used vehicles at edmartin.com. Ed Martin, the only name you need to know.
Your life is on the go. Now your viewing habits can be on the go. With the ISC Sports Network app, your team is at your fingertips. You can download years' worth of content from the ISC Sports Network library. High school, college, special events, weekly and monthly shows, wherever you find your favorite app. And you can always find out more information at iscsportsnetwork.com.
68-53. Greg Rakestraw, Jan Bozier with you Thank you, Jordan Shue, Derek Schultz, Wes Wolf. Thanks to Ryan, Brian, and Dennis on our cameras this evening. Many thanks to Mike Broughton and the IBCA for having us televise their games at Brownsburg and Southport this week. Been a great week for us on the ISC Sports Network. The Dye Junior Invitational at Crooked Stick. And Indiana High School All-Star Basketball, not to mention softball state finals action from Center Grove in conjunction with the IHSAA Champions Network. Tonight's game presented by Donato's. At Donato's, every piece is important. Donato's is now hiring. Log on to Donatos.com/careers.
Well, Indiana has extended this lead now to 15. Still tons of time, and you know Coach Osborne, and you see him out there coaching, still telling his players what to do and where to do it, because he understands that Kentucky may have one less run in him. And Indiana's got to guard against any of those runs. Here we go.
So Indiana the ball on a 15-point lead. The lineup remains Avance, Taylor, Wesley, First, and Brown. Avance finds a seam. Just kind of leaves that for Taylor and swishes the three.
Yeah, he's wide open. Somebody left their man for just a minute, and Taylor was able to get the good look.
Indiana's largest lead. Deep three by Johnson. Kale will track it down. His jump hook misses. Avance is there. Well, it looks like they have given a 2 on that bucket to Taylor. Just like that's a 2 for Shamar Avance.
This is where when Avance can really take over this game.
Vincent high arcing 3 is no good, and a team that has played fewer players here in the half suddenly has more legs. Taylor lost the handle. 3-on-2. Vincent off the window, no, and inside position by Brown, and look out. Wesley, nope. Taylor, nope. Second time, nope. Avance foul. Foul goes against Pope.
Indiana really doing a good job of following the shot and pounding the boards. Much better job on the boards, I think, here in the last few minutes here of the second half.
We got 2 timeouts left.
Free throw missed by Avance. Heard David Henley asking how many timeouts he got. He got 1. Just sitting here looking at some of the best all-star performances over the years. George McGinnis scoring 53 in Louisville back in '69.
I never will forget that one.
Oscar Robertson scored 41 in Louisville in '56. Vincent going to work. Johnson passes up for Moore for a 3 and makes it. Mason Moore gets his first bucket.
Good spacing by Kentucky that time in that half court.
He becomes the 7th player to score for Kentucky tonight. And that's a 2. Nice move by Wesley and got it to go.
Wow, that first step is unstoppable. Wow, he kick it in a hurry, can he?
Now Vincent left that one short. Now a timeout called by Ryan Osborne, and he's going to start to get some subs in for Indiana with a 19-point lead. 74-55, Indiana in front with 5:55 left to go. Again, a 30-second timeout taken by Coach Osborne. Well, our friends from Tom Wood Toyota have referred to Carmel as Title Town. Given the amount of championships they have, that would be very appropriate. But again, for Ryan Osborne, he has now won 2 in the last 3 years. And in the 3 years we have played past the sectional that he's been the head coach, he has made the state finals all 3 years. Titletown indeed, presented by Tom Wood Toyota.
Well, you think the challenges, especially this year, I think, did you not cover, was it the Lafayette semi-state?
It was not the, no, it was, that was, I was in, you were with me down in Washington.
That's your regional, maybe.
Regional was Logansport. They had Carmen Lafayette Jeff.
Yeah, there we go. It was Logansport. That was a phenomenal set of games that Carmel ended up winning against some really good competition.
Beat number 1 Homestead in the morning and beat Brooks Barnheiser and Lafayette Jeff in the evening.
Good help, good help.
Hey, Vance, what a move. Really good weekend for Shamar Vance. You would say he's the guy that played his way onto the All-Star team this year.
Good job.
Pull by Vincent is good.
Well, you know, the last 2 possessions has been as good a ball movement for Kentucky as the whole game, but unfortunately for them, they let this lead kind of get extended by Indiana.
Jalen Blackman will check in next, dead ball. Waddell looking for his first bucket tonight. Left that one short. Now Johnson's shot. Sisley able to get the rebound. Sisley also has yet to score this evening. Luke Brown draws contact, and Luke Brown will shoot 2.
Little hesitation, dribble to the rim. Through the contact.
Cooper Jacoby going to get a little extra playing time as well here. Here is the list of people in the history of Indiana high school basketball that have scored more points than Luke Brown. You ready?
Ready.
Damon Bailey.
Okay.
Marion Pierce.
Okay.
Deshaun Thomas.
Okay.
That's the list. That's it. The person he passed last on the all-time scoring list, Romeo Langford. As Brown makes them both. He exits with 10 points. Outstanding showing for Luke here in the All-Star weekend. A lot of his fans are here and standing and applauding Luke's efforts. Pope on the drive and a little too strong, and Wesley will track it down.
I don't know much about Stetson, Greg. How do you see him fitting in there?
He'll be the best player for Stetson. They got some talent. They got a young man from Monrovia, the Smith kid, that had a really good freshman year, but Luke Brown is a program-changing kid at Stetson. Stetson, DeLand, Florida, Atlantic Sun Conference. Cool nickname, the Hatters.
Yeah.
But he will make them a contender in that league as Waddell is fouled. Bellarmine has gone to that league and done exceedingly well. Florida Gulf Coast, of the teams that are there now, probably the best known. Liberty is now in the Atlantic Sun.
And he likes that. He likes to be that guy to be able to change things and put a school on the map. Certainly he put Blackford on the map.
Waddell misses, and Notre Dame teammates and friends from South Bend exchange places as Knesny replaces Wesley.
You know, one of the ones I'm really interested in how it's going to pan out is Brooks Barnheiser at Northwestern, how he will fit in there and what kind of impact he can make there.
I would say immediate.
Glad to see him going to the Big Ten. If you're not going to stay in Indiana or whatever, at least stay in the Big Ten.
Pope, the lead for Mudd. Mudd gets the bucket, his second of the game. 20-point game for Indiana.
Wasn't easy, Greg.
No, the end result may look a lot like last night. It was not that type of game. Blackman not that time. Johnson tracks down the rebound. By the way, we'll be with you until 9:45 this evening here on ISC and MyNDTV. Make sure we make way for Wish TV News coming up at 10 o'clock. Full highlights of this game will be on Sports 8 tonight. Sisley blocked. Pope scores it.
He's had a nice ball game.
Yeah, Pope with 15. I love that from Coach Henley. Don't quit, compete.
Jacksonville State.
Jacksonville, Alabama. Kind of east of Birmingham. And Johnson gets the bucket, his second field goal. He's had 6 points on both nights. Can't tell you how impressed I've been with Coach Henley from Kentucky.
Well, he's never stopped, has he?
And Eastern is a perennial power in high school hoops. Jacoby. Again, 5 years from now, Cooper's starting a pro team in this building. He'd like to play every game in this building if he could. Silver Creek was good to him. Sellersburg's good. Southport is like his second home. Pope, the bucket, he's got 17. Sisley, not that time. Pope's runner, good again.
Wow, Pope's just having a heyday now. He just padding the stats.
Timeout called by Ryan Osborne. 30 into a full. It's our last media timeout. We'll step aside. Back with the final minute 56 and back to wrap up our night of basketball at Southport Fieldhouse after this on ISC and My Indy TV.
When I come to work every day, I really feel like I'm at my home away from home.
We've got careers in sales, service, claims, and more.
It's a great place to get your career started, grow, and stay.
I expected a job, but what I got was a career.
Oh, baby! That got me awake.
The worm has turned in Logansport.
Look at that play.
The lob underneath, that is. You don't get any picture perfect more than that.
That young man will be glad that our cameras were here for tonight's contest. Greg Rakestraw, Jan Bozier with you. Indiana going to get the sweep of the boys' games this weekend. The girls' games were splits. The road team winning both contests. And let's hope that we do this again next year. Owensboro Sports Center, a great host venue last night. Southport Fieldhouse, the exact same this evening. Got a minute 56 left to finish festivities tonight. Greg Rakestraw, Jan Bozier with you on ISC and My Indy TV.
Well, one thing we can say, Greg, the series is back. It's back solid, and now we just build on it from here. And boy, what a nice, great week of basketball and a great start to get this series back where it belongs.
101st victory in this series history by Indiana taking place tonight. Five on the floor for Indiana: Sisley, Jacoby, Goody, Waddell, and Knesny. Perry, Moore, Johnson, Pope, and Mudd, the five on the floor for Kentucky. Knesny got it blocked. Knesny and Sisley, the only two Indiana players yet to score tonight.
Fight through it. You got to fight through the screen.
Indiana got all 13 players that played last night in the box score.
Get through it.
I'm sure that's the goal here too. Goody will fire and score. And that is why that young man is playing at Illinois.
And just to keep our theme going, how do you see him fitting in Illinois, Greg?
He'll be a role player, I think, at first for them. But again, his length, his ability to shoot it, they find places for you to play when you can do that.
That's very true. It's going to be so fun to watch all these young men, and specifically in the Big Ten. What a great representation of Indiana basketball, not only staying in the state, but the Big Ten and throughout all of basketball. It's going to be fun to watch these guys in the next 4 years to the next level.
You and I saw Goody go off in the Hoosiers reunion game back in May. We'll look forward to doing that again in April.
Yep, a lot of fun.
Historic Hoosier gym in Knightstown. Waddell, not that time. Jacoby. Jacoby was 6 in limited minutes. Perry lets fire. Closing minute of this one.
One thing about Goody, he is such a hard worker.
Waddell left it short. Well, what I've seen Goody do in these games tells me he's going to fit in Illinois real well.
Right.
In other words, he's like, okay, as Johnson knocks it down, he's got 9. Goody has figured out what his role is with this group quickly. And that translates very well when you go play at Illinois on the big stage. No further action necessary for Indiana. They won last night by 23. They'll win tonight by 16. Again, this game was more competitive than the final score will indicate. But make no mistake about it, Indiana the better team the last 2 nights, and they get the sweep as this rivalry was renewed in 2021.
Yeah, it took a little while to get this one finalized, but when it was all said and done, Caleb First, who wore number 1, got the job done. I don't have the final stats, Greg, but he had close to 20 boards tonight. He was phenomenal.
He finished with 14 points. We'll have those rebound stats our way in a matter of moments. But double figures for First, Brown, Avance, even only playing 1 half. Kaufman Wren finished with 10. Wesley a dozen. Taylor with 10 as well. So for Indiana, they had 6 players in double figures tonight.
I thought Luke Brown in the second half really was a spark, and Avance as well. Both of them, I think, really brought some energy to this ball club.
I don't think Luke Brown came to this weekend with a need to prove anything to anyone, given the 4-year career he had at Blackford. But if there was any that doubted his ability to hang with the best players in the state, he answered those questions easily tonight.
And Greg, and then some. I thought his leadership and his assists just complemented his great shooting ability that we knew he had.
Well, there will be an MVP award that is given out by the Indiana All-Stars at halftime. Cooper Jacoby got the kind of the Good Citizen Award, the team award for his outlook. You see the young men from Kentucky, those kids played hard.
Yes, they did.
Each of the last 2 nights, I thought they were receptive to coaching. That group has nothing to be ashamed about. Those kids represented their state and their coaches association exceedingly well the last 2 nights.
No question about it. Clearly, the challenge was huge, and I just thought the energy and the desire they brought was second to none. No question about it.
Caleb First going to get the MVP award, and again, that's fitting. He had double figures in each of the last 2 nights, and on a team where there was a multitude of stars, you had guys that did their role and played like a team each of the last 2 nights.
You know what's really interesting about First? He puts up big numbers and rarely forces anything. Just really allows the game to come to him, and he's that type of talent. He'll get you 15 rebounds, 15 points on every night.
And there's kind of a realization setting in that for these young men, their high school career just ended.
It did.
Look at how many state championships are on the floor right now. Cooper Jacoby, 2. Caleb First, 2. Trey Kaufman-Wren, 2. Waddell was a part of 2 at Carmel. You even have guys that have a state title in other sports, like Pierce Thomas of Brownsburg. Again, this is not the time to debate greatest senior class of all time. And I have told people there's probably other senior classes that maybe they've had better top-end talent, but from a depth perspective, and even all-star teams, 1 through 14, it's going to be tough to find a group that can beat this.
Well, Caleb First ends up with 14 points, 17 rebounds.
How about Shamar Avance, a double-double as well, 13 points and 10 rebounds. Scoring for Kentucky, 19 for Cam Pope, 18 for Sam Vincent, 10 for Deshaun Jackson, 9 for Ben Johnson, 8 for Sekou Kale, 4 for Aiden Mudd, and 2 for Mason Moore. For Indiana, 14 for Caleb First, 13 for Shamar Avance, a dozen for Blake Wesley, 10 each for Luke Brown and Trey Kaufman-Wren, 10 for Jake Taylor, Cooper Jacoby 6, Pierce Thomas 2, 1 each for Jalen Blackman and Brian Waddell, 2 and 20 seconds of play for Brooks Barnheiser, 5 for Luke Goody. Jan, final thoughts on this one?
Hey, with all respect to Kentucky, Cam Pope with 19. I thought his game was phenomenal. Hey, Indiana gets the sweep. We're super proud of all our teams. The girls had a great session as well. And it just, it finalizes high school basketball for us.
Before we exit stage left, we have one piece of post-game hardware to give out ourselves. That is our Donatos play of the game, where every play is important. Blake Wesley And he looked the part this weekend, did he not?
Yes, he did. Special guy, special move.
Again, he is off to play at Notre Dame. He and J.R. Konieczny staying in town to play for Mike Bray at the University of Notre Dame. Partner, an absolute pleasure. Thank you.
As
very
always,
much.
thanks to my good buddies here at ISC. Great job.
Tremendous job by our ISC Sports Network crew all weekend long. One more time, thank you to Jordan Shue, Wes Wolf, Derek Schultz. Thanks to Brian, and Dennis on cameras. Thanks to Pete Smith on Wednesday, Bob Lovell on Friday. It has been a tremendous week of basketball here in both the states of Indiana and Kentucky. Thanks for joining us all season. Indiana wins this one 86-70. You've been watching on ISC and MyIndy TV.
Tom Wood Toyota is your Toyota deal headquarters. We have hundreds of cars to choose from, all with great deals. Visit our showroom in Zionsville, Whitestown off 865 and 65, a short drive from anywhere in Indy. Help Tom Wood Toyota become the #1 Toyota dealer in the Indianapolis area in 2021. We'll earn your business with the best deals in town. New Toyotas or pre-owned cars, trucks, or SUVs. We have a deal waiting for you. Tom Wood Toyota, your dealer with today's deals.
At Donato's, when we say we give you choices, we're not talking A or B. No, we're talking choices for days. Cross choices. And meats, and cheeses, and fresh veggies. Over 30 total toppings. That's like a gajillion possible combinations. Sorry, we're not trying to hurt your brain with math. We're just trying to say we have a whole lot of choices. And really, no such thing as a bad one. Tell them, Jane.
Donato's, every piece is important.
Your life is on the go. Now your viewing habits can be on the go. With the ISC Sports Network app, your team is at your fingertips. You can download years' worth of content from the ISC Sports Network library. High school, college, special events, weekly and monthly shows, wherever you find your favorite app. And you can always find out more information at iscsportsnetwork.com.